Welcome back to Seriously Funny. I'm your host, Mashnor Kabir, and I drink water. This week we talk about everything, all the things, from the moon to the corona of the sun, the coronavirus, and the corona beer. Not really. Don't drink. You'll die. But everything. And the first thing we're gonna talk about is worrying. The first thing on the everything list, at least, is worrying. Everyone's favorite pastime. As a college student, I see this a lot, worrying. And I also see people really just resist the process of worrying, lying to themselves, telling themselves that they shouldn't worry, that they shouldn't feel garbage. But of course, they should. So I thought that, being the good Samaritan that I am, I would go ahead and give you all a great pep talk on that thing that you're worrying about. The test you're going to fail, the decision that's gonna go wrong, or maybe the fact that you're a complete and utter failure in life. So go ahead and worry about that thing. I mean, look at everyone else. We're fine. No one else has ever been depressed or gotten fired, laid off, rejected, or had our hearts broken. No one else has ever sat in a concentration camp knowing that they were gonna die in a horrific way. Really, we're all just here for you to fail, for you to mess up. So keep worrying, because you should be worried. Because when you mess up, when you fail, if you rock the boat, we all, every person on this earth, will bully you and make fun of you because we're just perfect, and we have absolutely nothing better to do than to get up in the morning and wait for you to screw up. And don't even think about changing your path in life. If you don't like what you're doing, keep doing it. Keep being miserable, because there's no way you'll succeed if you take a risk, right? I mean, no one else in history has ever taken a risk for anything. No one ever got in a big giant metal dildo and went to the moon knowing full well that they might die. No one ever quit their job to do what they love and succeeded. No one ever took a risk that panned out. So why would you? And when you inevitably fail, of course, we'll all be there to laugh at you and ask you, well, what did you think what would happen? Come on, because you should just keep worrying so you don't do any of that. You don't get to your deathbed and think about how you wish you'd have done that thing. Everyone that's ever been on their deathbed has only thought, man, I'm glad I kept that stupid job I hated. I'm glad I never asked that person out. I'm glad I never got to know what would happen if. So keep worrying, keep being miserable, and keep being a jerk to yourself, and keep feeling bad, because no one else gets it. And of course, it will never get better. So why would you not worry? Because, of course, worrying, being stressed, that's the only thing that will ever make it better, worrying. You definitely shouldn't try to get up. You definitely shouldn't try to have fun, because no one gets to their deathbed and thinks, I regret just trying to chase that thing that I didn't really care about. So why try to be happy? Why try to do anything? You should just worry, like you've always worried, but about everything, those things you're worried about. The thing you can't even remember anymore. I hope you enjoyed that little bit. It was really inspired by two of Exurbia's EXURB1A on YouTube. I've talked about them before, and these two videos were a guide to worrying and thoughts from your deathbed. They were really, really funny, and they were very similar to what I just said. Honestly, it would be better to say that what I just said was very similar to what his video said. I basically stole it, but I thought it'd be funny, so here we are. That, and I don't know what else. Well, of course I know what we're talking about today, but today we might not hit the time, and I say that as a good luck charm, because every time I do, I go over. So that's the goal. Anyways, I hope that you're just a little better at worrying. But other than worrying, the other thing that you should do is listen to the rest of this episode. So continuing on with the theme of negativity, college sucks, life is hard, and nothing gets better. Am I right, or am I right? But as I get closer to Thanksgiving break and I see my peers slowly become more and more jaded, burnt out, and sad over the next weeks. Actually, yeah, when this episode comes out, it's the last day of classes before Thanksgiving break, so that's cool. But for me, recording this, I have one more week of complete and utter suffering left before I get some semblance of a break. And even then, all it means is that I don't have to go to classes, but I still probably have to study so I don't fail everything. But my pain aside, which you'll hear about next week, I've been seeing people feel really, really bad. And I haven't been having the greatest of weeks either. When you're coming close to the end of the semester and you have classes, you might fail, making it so that you can't follow the path that you initially thought you'd go down, especially due to the way that my college handles the 4-year graduation path for engineering. When you think or you realize that maybe you won't be able to follow it as you intended, more than that, you won't be in the same classes as your friends anymore, and that absolutely sucks. You had this entire idea and it all goes to shambles and you start worrying. Sure, you might be me, and I just think that if anything goes wrong, I can go ahead and switch to marketing, but not everyone is like me. People care, people want something, they think that there's usually only one way to attain that thing. Spoiler alert, there's not. That's for another episode. Or they don't know what they want, but they think that what they're doing is the way that they can get that thing that maybe they want. And maybe this ephemeral failure will impede their ability to find that thing. And that's scary. It makes people start worrying because, as funny as it was laid out in front of you at the beginning of the episode, most people, you included, probably, yes, you, listening to this, when we worry, we don't think about how some people fight in wars with their life literally being on a thread. We forget that everyone has something they're worried about, something that's eating them, something that they're worried about. There's no other way to put it. But we rather just become consumed in our own pain, in our own problems, in our own strife, our own misery, our own whatever, everything, our own suffering and pain. And I'm not telling you not to do that. It's normal. It'd be cool if sometimes you could look up and look at the people that care and look at the things that are going well rather than thinking everything is falling apart. But that is a conversation for another day. Unless it is a conversation for today, it depends on how much time I have left when I finish my script. But one thing I'm saying that sticks out to me is the idea that things won't get better. At least, I say sticks out to me, I mean in college, among my contemporaries. And it's literally impossible to be okay to these people. It's impossible to be fine. It's impossible to be happy with the current conditions. That's what I'm seeing in college here with all of these depressed college students. Even the students that are doing well in their classes are working really hard to do well. I know some brilliant people, but I don't know anyone that's so absolutely brilliant that they don't have to work a lot. So even now, with this work, with the stress, with the exams, the projects, the lack of free time, the pain, the sweat, the pent-up want and will to watch more hentai, I see this theme of inescapable misery. One of my friends who's been struggling in some classes, facing similar issues to what I described above, possibly being unable to move through the standard course procedures, has echoed his frustration and his anguish, and it's fair. How can I tell someone who thinks that their entire life is falling apart, someone who thinks that they're a failure, especially when they did indeed fail things, whether that be an exam or a class, how can I tell this person that they're not a failure, and that they're great, and that they're fine? And maybe I can't tell anyone they're okay, but I do know for a fact that you can be okay, at least. It may not seem like it may not feel like it may not look easy to do, but even in all the stress, even in all the pain, you are fine. I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know if you have any cause to believe that you may be a failure by some metric. I don't know what you're worried about. But here's the thing. You won't be fine when you pass that class. You won't be fine when you fail that test. You won't be fine when you get that job. You won't be fine when you're rejected by your crush. You won't be fine when you buy that thing. You won't be fine when. All you need to be fine is something you already have. And I can't tell you what that thing is exactly, because honestly, I just haven't thought about it enough. But you have everything you need to be fine, to be okay, to be happy. You can't buy it, you can't gain it, you can't get it, you can't earn it, you can't do something or get something. That's not how you attain it. You have everything you need already. You just need, and I know that no one wants to hear this, but you just have to be happy. You just have to be fine, and you just have to be okay. But that, of course, leaves the question, how? How does one, quote, just be fine, end quote? And that's a long, a hard topic that this podcast covers one step at a time over the course of different episodes. I can't just tell you that right now. This entire podcast is kind of built on the foundation of being fine. And I didn't mean that at the beginning. Maybe this podcast would have a different name if that was my intention. Rather than Seriously Funny, I would be the host of How to Be Fine or something. I don't know. But for now, this is where we are, and this is where I've ended. And as I change and grow, the podcast will probably change and grow along with me. But all you need to know is that you're fine. You might not feel fine. You might not think that you're okay. You might not believe that you're happy or that it's possible for you to be happy right now, yet you're fine. And not only are you fine, but you'll always be fine. And there's only one thing, just one thing that you need to do in order to be fine. But in order to create tension and give me more time in this episode, I'll hold off on telling you that for a few minutes. You're welcome. Other than recording this podcast, which honestly, recording isn't my favorite part of the podcast. I think writing is probably my favorite part of the podcast. I'm a writer. What am I to tell you? But every Sunday when I record, I make an iced caramel effing latte, and it's always just such a great, enjoyable experience. Anyways, I've shared the recipe before, but black coffee, 1/4 of a cup, and then 1/2 of a cup. 1/2 cup black coffee, 1 tablespoon of sugar, however much effing caramel you want, and then a cup of milk. It goes crazy. And then some ice if you want to make it iced. You can make it hot if you want, I guess. That's your problem, but whatever. Anyways, I don't know what worries you, and I don't know why it worries you, and I probably won't ever understand because I'm me, and those of you who know me understand what that means. And the other reason that I won't understand is that you're you. You are you, and you are wonderful. You are great, and you are fine. And the one thing that I can tell you to help you be fine is this. I just said that you're wonderful and you're great and that you're fine, and you may not believe me, but I'm never wrong. So in order to prove me right, this is what you need to do. If you hate yourself, you think that you're a piece of absolute and utter garbage, if you think that you're a wet rag in a used condom, if you think that your life is falling apart, it's all going to crap and everything is over, then this is how to prove me right. Get to know yourself. Spend some time with yourself. And when you do that, when you spend enough time with yourself, and don't spend that time being a jerk to yourself and being mean to yourself, that's not getting to know yourself. That's just being a piece of garbage. Okay, look, if I was bullying someone, I'm not exactly getting to know them. I'm just bullying them. So you're not getting to know yourself if you just sit there and hate on yourself the entire effing time. All right? So take a few minutes every day. Some people call this meditation, or even a few seconds every now and then, and just kind of get to know yourself, talk to yourself. And the best way to do this really is journaling. Write stuff down in a journal. Generally, it's always preferable to do paper and pencil, but if you really want to go to Notion, I'm not going to stop you, am I? So, anyways, get to know yourself. That's the point here. And don't be mean to yourself while you're getting to know yourself. If you hate yourself, you might have to swallow the pill of your hatred, but it's like that coworker you don't like at work. You're not going to say it to their face, but that doesn't change that you like them or you don't like them. So if you don't like yourself, don't say it to your face. Just get to know them and kind of keep it inside while you do that. And when you get to know them, when you get to know yourself, I guess, and when you really sit down with yourself and really get to know, that's when you'll see why and how you're wonderful and great and fine, like I just said. Now, to be honest, I'm running out of things to say. So the only thing that you need to be okay, yeah, I'm giving it to you now, is to live. That's it. I know it can get bad. I know it sucks sometimes, and I know things falling apart completely sucks balls. And sometimes things do fall apart completely. It happens. But all you need to do is live. I don't know you, but if you have any thoughts about not living, remember you're fine. And all you need to do to be fine, for things to, things may or may not be okay. Those are other things. We don't have control of that. But for you to be fine, the only thing you need to do is not die. Just live. And if you do that, you'll be fine. And not only will you be fine, you are fine. So it's fine. I said that so much, but I think, that is all for this week on the Seriously Funny podcast. I have no idea why I said that or why I typed it, but I did. So, you're there for it. UPS effing hates me, and they don't want to deliver anything ever. So my MacBook is just going to go sightseeing in Kentucky for the rest of effing eternity, I guess. I don't understand, bruh. So I'm like, does UPS work on Saturday and Sunday? And apparently they do. And I think I have gotten packages on Saturdays and Sundays. But F me, I guess. I guess for some reason, for me specifically, they decided, we're just going to turn off all of our operations, 100% of our operations all over the weekend. Just because, screw you, Mashnor. You don't get your effing crap because you suck. Oh, come on, man. Why? Why are you like this? Why do you do this to me? I just want my effing MacBook. I just want to go sit there and look at my effing notch. Come on, bro. But no, F me. Anyways. Yesterday being last Saturday, since you're listening to this on Friday, I did send emails to a bunch of app companies asking for a student discount. So far, I've gotten how many? I have actually gotten a few. So let me go actually find those. Because if you're a student and you want to go look, here's who has a student discount. Mac Updater 2, if you're into that, they have a student discount. I emailed, Cloud Mounter. They haven't gotten back to me, but I do think that they have one. I also emailed Bartender 4 is a super popular Mac app. They have a student discount for 10%. And then Drop Zone 4 is also a pretty popular Mac app. They have a 30% student discount on their full app thingy. Side Notes has a student discount for 35%. I didn't find that from an email though. I just found that from Googling. And then there's these two smaller apps, which is Mission Control Plus and Batteries, that are also you can find discounted on the Google if you give it a Google. But yeah, so those are what I have so far. And so I started buying the licenses for a bunch of the apps, and I just bought the license for Alfred, the lifetime one, and that was probably the most pricey effing license of all the effing app bundles. So that was a little bit more of a hit, but what are you going to do? Anyways, yeah. So if you are looking for Mac apps or are looking at Mac apps, those are some pretty good Mac apps. The ones I just named. I'm looking for a email back from, again, Cloud Mounter, because it's super useful, as well as Slideover, yeah, I think, was it called Slideover? I think so, or Slide Pad or something. Yeah, Slide Pad. I mean, which is just, it's a cool thing. So hopefully they get back to me so I don't have to effing pay full price, which will be very nice. So yeah, but other than that, I sent a tweet to a developer also, I guess, of Better Touch Tool, asking if he'd do another Black Friday deal, because he did one last year, and he said probably. So that's cool. I did it, saving money everywhere I can. You feel me? Aside from that, when you're listening to this, I have hopefully finished 3 projects. Actually, I finished one of those 3 projects yesterday. So GG, good game. I have 2 more projects. Both of those are extremely big, and then I have a lab, and then I have a homework, and I really hope I don't get assigned another lab, and then a bunch of other smaller painful things that add up to make me cry. And I will also hopefully have my effing MacBook. It will hopefully realize that it's done sightseeing in Kentucky, for God's sake. But yeah, very, very fun. I got nothing else though. Music has been kind of dry. So Clinton Kane has an album coming up. Ian Dior, he released a single. I don't really want to listen to it. I'm waiting for the album, which is in the next few months, which is, December or January. A Juice WRLD single came out a few days ago called Already Dead. And then his album, they say every day that it'll come out tomorrow, but I don't know when that's going to actually happen. And I did start watching another anime, Serai Genshoki Spirit Chronicles. It's a typical isekai anime. The MC is trying really hard to be Kirito. I mean, he even has the same effing robe as Kirito now. It's like, it's quite the copy. Same hair, like it's incredible. Anyways, I do like the anime. I've been having a good time, so I will give it the recommend. But I think that is all my dumb talk about the stupid apps and licenses I bought. It pushed me over the edge, so I did make time, so that's awesome. Anyways, keep going, keep living. You have everything you need. You're fine, and you'll always be fine. I'll talk to you next week. Peace.